Let's face it, my quilting friend, those rotary cutters and acrylic templates can be more diva than delightful. I mean, if you're over the drama and ready for a quilting bestie which delivers consistent, perfect cuts every time, then the AccuQuilt Go me just may be your new BFF. Hi, my name is Tammy. I'm a human, and I believe that quilting is magical and has the power to connect us stitch by stitch. I started my quilting journey back in 2020 during the pandemic. I fell in love with vintage sewing machines, and I purchased at the time a 101-year-old Singer treadle. And so I got the machine home and was like, what are you here to teach me? And Santiago is his name, and he decided he wanted to be a quilter. So I started my quilting craft journey. I made the investment in all of the rotary cutters and the acrylic templates and paper templates. And I tried my best, my friend, to get accurate cuts, but everything came out a hot mess. So I decided, hey, I'm left-handed. Maybe I should get a left-handed rotary cutter. So I did. I bought even more OmniGrid acrylic templates, and still everything was a hot mess. So I decided, I'm done. I'm putting down this quilting thing and I'm going back to machine embroidery. And so that's what I did until I was watching YouTube one day and it served me up this video on AccuQuilt cutters. And I was like, what is this? This looks intriguing. Let me learn more. So I decided to make the investment. I purchased the Go Me cutter and very rapidly became frustrated with that cutter and decided to upgrade to the AccuQuilt Go Big Electric, which, yes, it is a way larger investment, but in my opinion, my experience, it has been worth every penny. Now, I am going to show you how I cut fabric using these acrylic templates, and then I'm going to compare the accuracy with the acrylic template against this Go Me cutter. So stay tuned and I'll show you how I do it. When I tell you I invested in multiple tools to improve my rotary cutting skills, I'm not kidding. Most of us have this self-healing cutting mat. Okay, I tried that. That didn't work. So I said, let me upgrade to this fancy pants Martelli rotating rotary cutting mat, right? It's also self-healing, but look, it spins around because my thesis was, well, maybe I am not getting accurate cuts because like I'm left-handed and I'm doing it this way and I'm doing it that way. So let me try to solve the problem by getting this spinning mat. Well, let me show you how that turned out. Okay, as you can see here, this doesn't look too bad, but if you notice at the end, there was a little thread I didn't cut. Yes, my rotary blade is fresh and brand new. I just put a new one in for the sake of this video, and it looks okay. The reason why my fabric is wrinkled is because I pre-starch all of my quilting fabric before I get started. So this doesn't look bad. This was the second attempt of me trying to get a solution. I bought the OmniGrid ruler. Let me show you what I did with my very first acrylic ruler. So this was my very first attempt at using acrylic rulers. These are the OmniGrid square template set. It comes with 5 squares. And I selected a very basic quilt pattern. It was essentially this one, just a bunch of squares. And I figured, how hard could it be to cut these squares? Ha! Well, it was very hard for me. One of the benefits I will say with this particular template is that the dog ears are cut off. That's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because the dog ears are cut off, but it's a curse because it's one more cut that I need to make accurate. So watch me as I do my best at cutting using this template. And again, I know my fabric is wrinkled and typically I press it, but because I'm pressing hard on the template against the fabric, you see how when I'm pressing it kind of flattens out the fabric. So I think I pretty much eliminated that as an option or as a variable. So So here is my second rotary cutting tip. Actually, it was my first one. And I use the acrylic template that has the dog ears cut off. And as you can see, I mean, it looks pretty good, but like, who's got time for all of that cutting and spinning? Because I don't. Then I discovered the AccuQuilt cutting system, and let me show you how much easier it is to cut with that. Let me talk about the AccuQuilt Go cutter for a little bit. So this is their entry-level cutter. It weighs approximately 8 pounds, and to use it, you simply open it up like this, and you turn this handle to make the cut. The AccuQuilt system works primarily with 3 features. It's the cutter that has an internal roller that rolls what I call the quilt sandwich through to cut. It uses various dies that you have to purchase separately. However, when you purchase the Go or any of their cutters, they come with a couple of dies to get you started. So the dies look like this, and typically there are 2-tone colors. There's a light gray, there's a dark gray, and in between here, there's a blade, and it's very sharp. So these dies can cut thousands of pieces of fabric, and you basically don't have to worry about the blade. So you need a die, you need your fabric, and then you need a cutting mat. Of course, you need a cutter. Now, what you see here is this is my cutting mat. I have green painter's tape on one side of this mat, and on the other side of the mat, there's no tape because I use the tape as a reminder to flip the mat every time I make a cut or run it through the cutter so that I can extend the life of the mat. When you invest in the AccuQuilt cutting system, what you use up the most, or what has to be replaced, are these mats. So it's very important that you do your best to extend the life of the mat so you can save some money. One of my biggest pet peeves of this AccuQuilt Go and the main reason, well, not the main reason, but one of the main reasons why I decided to save my money and invest in the Go Big Electric, or you can get the Go Big, but it's kind of the same problem with the Go Big, is that as you'll see in a second, when you have a mat that's this worn and you're trying to push it through this Go it really does not go easy. I mean, you have to press and shimmy and do all this maneuvering, and it's a lot of work. I mean, I invested in this system because I didn't want to do the work of rotary cutting. So what I discovered was you have to purchase more mats. So when you think about pricing, you know, this entry-level cutter is about $150 when it's not on sale, but you can catch the sales and they're like $100 or $120. When you think about the fact that you have to keep buying these mats because this one doesn't cut efficiently, to me, I mean, it's not worth it. So I just decided to upgrade. So let me show you how this works. And for the sake of this video, I am going to use a new mat because I do not want to embarrass myself and struggle with this one. With my AccuQuilt Go Big electric machine, that machine cuts like a beast. I mean, it'll use this mat no problem. As you can probably see, I don't know if you can tell, but this thing is pretty darn worn. I mean, it's almost to the point where it's got cuts in it. But again, the Go Big handles it with no problem. This Go is the diva I was talking about at the beginning of this video. So here we go. Here's the mat. Here's my fabric. And what I did was oh, the other thing is, people like to talk about how using the AccuQuilt cutting system, you waste fabric. In my experience, if you just pre-cut the fabric to size, so as you can see, this fabric is about 1/2 inch on either side, wider than this gray area. If you pre-cut it, you can save some fabric. You're not wasting fabric. So again, the dye, the fabric, and the mat. This is how it works. You simply push the sandwich, I call it, through one side of the cutter. I'm left-handed, so I'm going to press to the left or roll to the left. So you just, and you see how like you would think that if I just press this down and start turning, this thing would move. That's not happening. I have to, even with a brand new mat, I have to give it a little like turn and shove simultaneously to get it going. Then once it gets going, see, I have to push a little, there we go. And once it gets going, see how hard that was? Once it gets going, it's no problem. It just cranks through, comes out on the other side, and you have a beautiful cut. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. So let me compare all three of my cuts, and let's look at the accuracy and talk about the time that was wasted or saved. Here are the results of my comparison between my skill set in cutting using the rotary cutter and acrylic templates versus using the AccuQuilt Go. So first, what we have here is that acrylic template by OmniGrid that has the dog ears cut off. And let me show you up against this gray backdrop. The cut looks pretty good. It's pretty accurate. It's pretty sharp. Looks good. That's result A. Result B was the one that I used the OmniGrid template with the grid on it to cut. And it looks good. However, again, my skill set left this little thread here, but it looks good. And last but not least, this is the square that was cut using the AccuQuilt Go. They all look good, right? I am not a perfectionist. They all look good. But for me and my quilting style, I want something that is consistently accurate, reliable, and takes me as minimum time as possible because I do not like cutting. What I love about quilting is the actual sewing and piecing together the fabric. So I think, in my opinion, that using these acrylic templates is for the birds. I have them for archival sake, but I don't plan on using these things because I have invested in the AccuQuilt cutting system. So as far as accuracy, yes, you can get accurate using the template and a rotary cutter, but that nothing beats using the AccuQuilt Go for speed and accuracy on top of that. Thanks for joining me today. I would love for you to comment down below and tell me what your experience is with quilting using acrylic templates, etc. Do you own an AccuQuilt cutter? Are you looking to purchase one? Let me know in the comments down below.